All right, everybody, once again, it is on. Ding, ding, ding. We are back at it. This is Troy Vaughn, also known as Troy Amazing, and this is Corner Confessions presented by Ringside. And I am here with the epic and illustrious author. This is Mary Morrison, also known as Honeybee. For those that don't know her, she is a New York best-selling author. She's written 29 books. Am I right?
30 with this one.
Okay, 30.
So you're
okay.
right. This is number 30.
Okay, and I'm glad you brought that book. She is on number 30. She is a female empowerment specialist. She is a public speaker. She is someone you need to know. She is someone that I recently became introduced to through Jessica Holter, which I just did a video about not too long ago. If you go through the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to the Ringside YouTube channel. And you'll find the video with Jessica, and you will also find a list of my other great videos. But for right now, we are focusing on this wonderful, prolific woman who I got a chance to read her background. She was born in Illinois, but let me make sure you were raised in New Orleans,
Yes.
and you lived in Oakland. And now she is joining us here in Atlanta, Georgia, bringing it all, bringing Chi-Town, bringing New Orleans, bringing, Oakland, Oaktown, just like Jessica. I'm with that. I love it. So I want to dive right into this because, people that know this channel and know Ringside's Corner of Confessions, we tackle things that are salient as far as issues with singlehood, dating, marriage, divorce, sex, fetish, and kink. First and foremost, your 30th book, this is the 30th, Punani Paradise, 21 Types of Female Orgasms, okay? Mm-hmm. This is the latest and what I presume probably one of the greatest. So before we, really get into the meat of it, give us a quick, description of Punani Paradise, because obviously, the title says a lot for me. I'm going to dive into it, but really quickly, kind of give people the inspiration behind, what made you come up with Punani Paradise and what it means.
The inspiration and thank you for having me. Let me say that. This is exciting. And the inspiration for Punani Paradise came from all of the other fiction novels that I have written that people absolutely love because it has adult content. Some people say it's how-to sex scenes. I try to be descriptive in terms of what I do, but I know a lot, I research, I've experienced a lot, and I say, why not share this with my girls? And the 21 types, there's more than 21. I chose 21 because I felt like those were the most significant ones to talk about. And there's so many little things that women don't know or understand. So that's why I wanted to write the book. There is a disconnect with most women and their vagina. It's like you go to work, you do this, you do that, you do everything else, taking care of everybody else, but below the waist, you don't even think about it. I mean, she's just sitting there. So in Punani Paradise, I'll tell you, I start with Kegel Exercises. That's going to be key to any woman who wants to increase her libido, want to control incontinence. The doctor's not going to say just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze all day long if you want to. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, oh, go buy Depends. And some of those things just frustrated me so much that I felt like I had to write Punani Paradise, 21 Types of Female Orgasms for my girls.
Ladies, make sure you take some notes, get your Kegel on, okay? I've heard of that before because there are male Kegels. There are Kegels that we can do as well. So yes. I think no matter who you are, male or female, doing some Kegels will benefit you in the bedroom or wherever you like to get down. Doesn't have to be the bedroom, but it's all beneficial. So give me, you don't have to go through all 21. Maybe give me a few, types, that because we have a lot of women who are going to be watching this. It's going to be posted in the Facebook group, in our digital Ringside Facebook group. We have a lot of women. What are some key takeaways, from Punani Paradise that you feel like women right now, like if they want to take some of these key points and work them out tonight or start tonight, what are some quick tips that they can start on right now?
Well, the things they can start on right now is it's not always easy for women in terms of the whole self foreplay, right? Your mind is a great tool. And the wonderful thing about women is that we can have an orgasm anytime, anywhere, with anyone. And I'm saying it. If you want to have sex with Drake every night, if your mind can take you and transform you to this place, do it. Women don't fantasize enough. You can start doing that now. A lot of women, because they're in relationships, they feel like, oh, I can't look at this guy, or, my guy will get. No, look, undress him with your eyes. Even when you watch TV, you can practice, because those things help what I call the shy girl to come out of her shell. Because the more confident you get about sex and sexuality, the better your sex life is going to be. So that's one of the things they can do. I also talk about the 60-second and the 60-minute orgasm. You can get yours in 60 seconds. I'm telling you how to do it in the book, and I saved the best for last. Because the 60-second orgasm is at the end with the 60-minute orgasm. Big difference. But knowing your body is essential. You deserve to have great orgasms, and women can do it without men. The other thing that I am politically driven, I believe in certain things. So Roe versus Wade, that's another inspiration for me to write the book, because they're trying to overturn it and they don't care about women. And so we have to take matters literally into our own hands. I always say, penetration is an option. It's an option. And it's a privilege. If you decide to let a man penetrate you, that's a privilege. He should be honored. But too many of these guys expect it, because too many women just allow it to happen. But I guarantee you, after you read Punani Paradise and you start learning things, even if you're in a relationship, your guy gonna be like, where you learn that?
I'm saying, so basically there is a way for any woman to have an orgasm in 1 minute.
Yes.
I know, there's minute rice, and there's instant grits,
Yes.
and instant oatmeal. You mean to tell me in 60 seconds a woman can go from nothing to an explosive orgasm?
Yes, she can. And the way that actually happens is that you're already sexually charged, because you know what happens in the book. You know how to teach yourself how to do certain things, how to turn yourself on, whether it's a touch or whatever. And so you're already charged. So by the time you get to interact with that man, you're already on the edge. So the minute he's like going for it, penetration wise, you can be done. You could be so close.
So you have a head start.
Yeah,
Man.
super head start.
Oh my God. Okay, y'all cheating now. Oh,
That's okay. We can cheat.
See, and so I'm 42 years old. I've kind of been doing this for a while. A lot of men, you hear how you hear this from people in general, how it's easier for men, to get our nut and our cum, during sex, and for women. I've heard the whole analogy. Men are microwaves, women are ovens. For us, it's not that difficult for us to go to 0 to 60 in no time and just be ready and turned on. Whereas for women, I've been told that's why foreplay is so important. You gotta work them up to it, physically, emotionally, and mentally. You talked about the disconnect. Does all that tie into that disconnect that a lot of women have with their vaginas? Because at the end of the day, it's like, why is there such a systemic disconnect with so many women? But for men, just even for myself, it don't take me that long to get mine. If I'm lasting anywhere longer than 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm doing that deliberately because I'm, for her. But it don't take me long, to reach my point. So as far as the disconnect and why so many women are out here in relationships, in marriages, unsatisfied with their partners, what are some factors you think contribute to that? I know you mentioned women focusing so much on their work or their family, or putting, so many other things ahead of themselves. What are some other things that are contributing to that? Because again, this is systemic. A lot of women,
Yes.
it's not necessarily specific to race, It's like a lot of women, black, white, Asian, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, are dealing with this. So what are some things that women can start to address right now? Like after looking at this interview, they can put together a list of things. Okay, I need to start doing this and stop doing that. Give them a quick list.
Okay, well, the first thing they need to do is get the book, right? Punani Paradise. You need to go ahead and grab your copy.
Link will be in the description, everybody.
Of the book. And then the other thing I say in the book, some people are going to take offense to this. I really don't care. I wrote it for my girls. I didn't read it for the guys. And some of the guys are going to be upset with me because of it.
Uh-oh.
I do say that men are like dogs. You can train them if you start early. But if you don't start early, it's never going to happen.
You shit out of luck.
And I don't mean in a bad sense or a negative sense. You could say puppies if that makes you feel better, right? Like men are like puppies. They're trainable. But here's the thing. Who coaches the guy? Who teaches the guy how to be a good lover? Where does he learn how to do that? Most guys aren't really interested in that because they probably started masturbating or self-pleasuring when they were a teenager, if not before that.
I was 18.
And see, and it starts so early for guys, right? And then it becomes automatic for them. But for women, you're off to a late start because he's already there. I even talk about virgins masturbating and learning how to have an orgasm before you lose your virginity.
Know your body.
That is important. So you can train and coach a guy when you're with him to slow down, to do different things. They will get it. I mean, I've literally had to say, stop. And then it's like, they're like toddlers, right? Okay, we're going to try this again. And they just off to the races again. And at this point, you got to sit down. It's like, go to sleep. Playtime is over. We'll try this again tomorrow. See, he's going to slow down. He's going to slow down by tomorrow because he really, really wants to engage with you. But if you just like let a man do his business, so to speak, because I've heard my girls say that to me, if you allow him to just do that without telling him what pleases you, then I do say in the book, that's on you. You have to learn.
I concur because honestly, I think communication it is the backbone of a relationship. Communication can make the difference between whether or not your relationship skyrockets or, just completely sinks. So I do feel like, ladies, we let us know, just tell us, you don't have to make innuendos, just flat out say, faster, slower, to the left, to the right, go up, go down, something, because if left to our own devices, a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this, a lot of times we're just going to emulate what we saw in the porn, the night before, what we saw on TV, that we want to try that. We'll see, a dirty movie. I'm like, okay, when I get, the next opportunity, I'm going to try that shit. We don't often ask ourselves, well, what would the woman like? I may want to do this, but would this be satisfying and pleasing to her? So ladies, I do agree. For us, you got to spell it out. You got to tell us, give us directions. You got to tell us, hey, that's not the spot. Move or stop doing that or keep doing that. So I do agree, that disconnect needs to be minimized because, everybody deserves a good nut. Everybody deserves an orgasm. Everyone deserves a happy and fulfilling sex life. So I know that you're also a public speaker, and I imagine this is something that you talk to people, particularly women across the country. You coach, you mentor, and this is something, these are messages that, you really want to resonate with your female audience. How long have you been a public speaker, and, what are some of the other different topics that you talk about?
Oh my gosh, there's so many things that I discuss. So I've been a public speaker for over 20 years. I've been writing books for about 22 years now. And some of the things I talk about is baby dolls are bad for baby girls. I talk about that. I talk about never let a man come first. COVID. But the headmaster class, yes, it is all about oral sex and learning more. I talk about some of that in the book and give my girls tips on oral sex and what to do and how to perform it, fellatio, how to get yours in exchange for that. So there's so many different subject matters. Vaginal aerobics, that's all part of the, I say Kegels because I'm from New Orleans, but I could say Kegels, but
You said, go back, you
I
said
love
vaginal aerobics.
vaginal aerobics. Vaginal aerobics. Yeah, because that is like with doing your exercises, doing your Kegels, it's like you're just going to get into it. Let your vagina dance to the beat of a song. You know, all of those different things matter when it comes to having sex. Stop having to disconnect. So it's actually a fun class. You have to get on the floor.
Gotta get on, okay.
It's aerobics. Now, nobody can see your vagina working, but trust and believe you want it to work. Some people say, oh, I think I'm doing it wrong because it's my anus. Honeybee, can you come over here? Yes, I can teach you how to isolate that muscle, get the right muscle because that band goes from front to back. It's so much that I teach, and I enjoy doing it. I'm a teacher. Yes.
You know, it's again, the fact that even, you know, the 11 years I've been in the genre and coming across women who are married, women in their 30s and 40s that talk about never had an orgasm. And I'm thinking to myself, I have literally met women who were in their 30s and they say, I've never had an orgasm. I mean, I'm not saying these aren't women I've been with, you know, but women, you know, that have come to my events, been in the audience, and I'm thinking to myself, that's such a that's tragic. That's so, I mean, the fact that there are so many, and this is something that is affecting a lot of women, you know, just that, like you said, that disconnect, you know, women not knowing their bodies, not knowing their vaginas, not having a good relationship with their vaginas.
Can we keep it real?
Yes.
Keep it? Let's
Please
keep it
keep it
100.
real.
Let's keep it 100 plus, right? A lot of my girls, a number of my girls, and myself included, right? I was molested by my great grandfather when I was 7 and he was 92. I shouldn't know what an uncircumcised penis look like, smell like, taste like at 7 years old. A lot of women have been raped. A lot of us have been sexually assaulted. The Me Too is real. Sometimes I think women like go a little bit too far. If you consented and then said no and then consented, you know, it's like that's a whole nother story. But I know it's real. So women have sexual trauma before they even lose their virginity. Now here comes along a guy who just wants to ejaculate and get his, you know, quickly. And if you didn't get yours, that's your. So she does have layers and layers and layers to peel away to get to that orgasm. She needs the right guy to actually do that with her, but she can also do it for herself. I encourage the get toys, get in the tub. I love waterproof. Everything in my house is waterproof. If I can't put it in the tub, it's not going to work. But just learning how to do that, exercising will make a tremendous difference. I talk about squirting. Squirting is not that complicated. Trust and believe me.
So it's not an anomaly. It's not one of those only porn stars can squirt. Only, you know, because, you know, we think, okay, you got to be a professional to squirt. So squirting is that something any woman can do? Or?
90%.
Oh, okay.
90% of women can squirt, but only 10% do.
Okay, you know what? While we're talking about squirting,
Yes.
I need you to, I'm pretty sure you've heard this question. You know, I'm no doubt. For the other men, you know, I realized this a while ago, but for the other men out there, clear up the miscommunication. Is that urine or is that vaginal fluid? Or what is that?
Yes. I talk about that in the book as well. It's ejaculate fluid.
Okay.
It's
so it's not urine.
ejaculate fluid, and it's clear. If it's yellow, she peed on you.
Oh, God. Hey, some guys will be into that.
Ejaculate fluid, yeah. So look, if it happens, it happens. Hey, let go. But what really happens, and it happened to me early on, I had to learn that I was not on the verge of urinating. I was on the verge of actually squirting. So a lot of times if that woman says, I got to go pee, I got to pee, stop, she is on the verge of squirting more than likely. And she should keep going. But because she thinks that she has, so basically the ejaculate fluid goes down the toilet and, you know, so she doesn't get that experience. But I break that down in a book, how to make it happen, what to do. Sometimes it's overrated because your bed is going to be flooded. Things are going to get wet. Some women are gushers, some are squirters. But, and once you become a squirter, now don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me.
Blame it on her.
Sometimes it's hard to turn it off. because your body is now across that threshold, and
You can't
you
go
may
back.
squirt like all the time if you don't learn how to separate the two. And speaking of separation, men need to learn how to separate their orgasms from ejaculation as well. A lot of guys don't know how to do that. And so when they ask me, well, how do I do that, honeybee?
Yeah, I'm asking for a friend. How do you do? You know, if I had a friend that wanted to know
Yes.
what you just said, what would you say to that friend?
I would say to that friend, that, look, you remember when you used to masturbate when you were younger, before you ever had your first ejaculation?
I'm sure
You remember
my
how
friend remembers.
good that felt and how wonderful it felt, and then one day all of a sudden something came out and you were like, oh my God. Well, your orgasmic point is that point right before ejaculation. And a lot of men don't know how to stop. Some do, so they can prolong it, but a lot of them don't. And a lot of times ejaculation actually deplenish your stability over the long term. You know, and men don't need Viagra, Cialis, and all of that stuff, right? But they think they do. And once you start thinking that that's what you need, then that's what you're going to need.
It's like a
So,
somatic. Like
yes.
your mind is making you need it. When that's out, you may not need it at all.
Guys can do the pull and resist. Guy can hang a towel on it. When
I've
you're in the
done that.
shower, one for you, one for him. And trust me, it will help build up your foundation. Eat more watermelon. Black people knew what they were doing back in the day, eating that watermelon. It's a natural Viagra. So it's so many.
It was so many. See, that's man.
They weren't eating watermelon for nothing. They
Like,
knew
we
some
knew what's
things.
up. We knew what's up. Okay.
Yes.
We were ahead of our time, innovators. So a lot of what we talked about right now has been for women, directed towards the women. But let's change gears for a second and talk to the men. Now, you talk about how, as far as for a lot of women, that disconnect can be the result of being, molested and raped, and going through that trauma, particularly, when it's happening at such a young age. I know a lot of women who are going to be watching this can relate to that. So as men, we're the boyfriends, we're the husbands. How can we, I guess, better connect with our women who may have gone through that? How can we be there and not be insensitive to what she's gone through, but, at the same token, still have a healthy, fulfilling, mutually beneficial sex life? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be, as a man, you don't want to be that guy that just get on top of a woman and just do your business, quote unquote, and then she start having flashbacks and PTSD. You don't want, you want to help her move away from, what she's gone through. It's even, the mental part. So for a man, how do we address being with a woman who has, suffered that trauma, but we're also trying to, we want sex to be enjoyable, not only for ourselves, but for her as well.
I think just listening to what she has to say, because a lot of people are sleeping with, are married to, or in relationships with women who have been sexually abused, some guys in certain instances, but they don't even know it. I've had women tell me that they've been sexually assaulted, but they say, I haven't told anybody else. They carry it around. Women have to stop carrying this within them and actually share, because more women have been sexually assaulted than we can ever imagine. So the guy needs to at least hear her out. Ask the question, have you ever been? And she will appreciate your asking the question, and you may be surprised at the answer, because you may think no. She could be a stripper, she could be a dancer, she could be the girl that works at the public grocery store. You just don't know. So you have to ask and care about the answer. Don't ask if you really don't care and you're just trying to get it out of the way just to see. No. Listen to what she has to say. Touch is important. That's why foreplay is important. Foreplay actually builds trust in a relationship. That's important, Just don't go from like 0 to 60 and trying to knock the bottom out of it and all that. That's not what she wants most of the time. It's what she wants probably some of the time.
Sometimes you just want that
Sometimes
backbone
you just
out.
want to, yeah. You know, and so for guys who actually take the time to ask, she's going to appreciate you much more than you can imagine. So guys, when you become a giver, you'll get a lot more. Women want to please you. But when you're not that type of guy, what do? Soon as you're done, they're picking up the phone, they're calling their girlfriend, they're telling them how bad you are or how horrible you are. But you don't care, because most guys do what? They move on to the next girl. And I'm going to say this to my girls too. If you have a guy who's good, he's a great lover, he's attentive, don't go telling your girlfriends. I know you done already heard that. Don't tell your girlfriends.
Keep that shit to yourself.
Yes, because this is what I say when I get a good woman that's really good in bed. I say, oh girl, he's so small and can't do nothing with it. It's just a shame. He might be foot long. And the best thing I've ever had. See, I lie about it. You can't be telling your girlfriend it's the truth. Sometimes a lie is good. I believe in lying occasionally.
A little white lie I've never heard.
To a man. Mm-hmm.
So I know, and you know, this will be the final topic we talk about. I know in the description you talk about double standards.
Yes.
You know, in dating and relationships, and you know, that's a hot button topic because you know, no matter if you are a man or a woman, there will be double standards that you feel benefit you. There will be double standards that work against you. You know, a lot of times with double standards, people don't mind the double standards when they're reaping the benefits. Like, okay, it's working out for me. You know, it may not work out for the other side, but for me, I'm loving it. But then when you come across a double standards, like, well, I don't like this shit. You know, I got to work harder, or you know, how come I have to do this, but they don't? What are some double standards you feel? Some big ones. What are some of the ones that I guess piss you off the most, or you think the biggest roadblocks in dating and relationships and even marriages?
There's a couple of things, just in general. There is the body count issue.
Yep.
There is the body image issue that women have as well. And it's the guy that's really just trying to manipulate, tear you down, and tell you you're nothing without a man, that the woman is nothing without a man. I hop into some of these clubhouse rooms and I'm telling you, I have to just let it rip sometimes. Body count. Why does it even matter? If you are with someone, you are with them. If you like them, get to know them. So I tell women, just if you don't have any kids, nobody. You know, ask them how many men they've been with. You know, I mean, it's like, in some cases, if you're in Atlanta, you might want to ask the question. And then body image, making women feel bad. You know, it's like, oh, you're overweight, you're this and you're that. But when you look at the guy, who cares, right? He could be 300 pounds and still with a size 2, you know? But
again, it's Atlanta. You see it. I've seen men 350 pounds, man titties, back of their neck look like a Nestle bar. You know, razor bumps up and down. But you look at the woman in their arm, I'm like, how did you get that?
Exactly. Because they're always constantly tearing women down. You have to know your own value. It does not matter what your size is. You have to be comfortable with yourself. I don't care if you're Nicki Minaj, a Lizzo, or Cardi B. You know, and I also believe that the more attractive a woman is, the more problems she's going to have because the guy objectifies you for your exterior. Man, I got the baddest chick on the block. Look at my girl, look at my girl. But they don't even know your middle name. They don't even know anything about you.
They may not even be the point.
Yeah. So women have to
like, well, you got a name?
build their self-esteem, right? And so when you get that relationship with your vagina, because for a guy, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, the end game is sex. So if you can get ahead of him and understand your relationship with your vagina and his relationship of trying to be with your vagina, then you'll do better. You'll be better off for it. It'll build your self-esteem. You'll look at life differently. Yeah, but these double standards have got to go. I usually say a husband ain't nothing but a headache because guys look at it like, oh, she's supposed to cook, she's supposed to clean. Not these days.
In my relationship, I do a majority of the cooking.
Yay.
I enjoy cooking. Cooking is one of those things I enjoy doing because it's cathartic. It can be relaxing, and plus I like to, I get a rise when my girl eats my cooking and she likes it, asks for seconds. I'm like, okay, I did that shit. I'm like, she she likes my food, and I'm good to her. So it's there are a lot of double standards out there, and they can really make dating and relationships unnecessarily, just terrible. As I've gotten older, I've realized even with the body count issue, my main thing with the body count is I don't care. I'm not going to ask. Well, number one, it's like I'm not going to ask you what your body count is because how can I refute? How can I, confirm it? If you tell me you've only been with 2 men, how would I know whether or not you lying or telling the truth? So I guess, I'm at a point now, it's like, number one, I'm not going to ask questions I don't want to know the answer to. I'm not going to ask questions, like, how does that benefit me? You know what I mean? So regardless if you've been with 3, 13, or 30, I was like, there's no way I can verify that. So personally, if you clean, we start dating. I show you my test results. You show me yours. What's happened in the past, look, it's over with. You're with me now. Don't worry about my past. I'm not worried about yours. Let's just move forward and enjoy one another and, make some shit happen and have great sex and, just make each other happy. Really quickly, before we end things out, this has been an epic interview. Thank you so much. So for the people out there who are watching, who are falling in love with you as I am, where can they find you? Where can they find Punani Paradise? Where can they find information about your public speaking? Where can they find Honeybee?
You can find me online at Celebhoneyb, Celebhoneyb. If you're interested in buying my books, autograph copies, go to shopmarymorrison.com. And if you just want to see my whole collection, go to marymorrison.com. So either one of those, if you want autograph copies, shopmarymorrison.com. If you do want to see my collection, marymorrison.com. And I have to say this before we end, because I know we're coming to an end. I absolutely love the way that you acknowledge your girlfriend all the time in conversation.
Absolutely.
I think it's so respectful. A lot of guys won't do that because they have something to hide, because they are interested in you, but they have another woman or whatever. They won't do that. And you consistently do that, and I absolutely love it, and I have to acknowledge you for that.
Thank
and
you.
I wish that more men would start acknowledging the women that they're with, because women are always, that's another double standard, my man, my husband, my this, my that, and somebody else might not even know you've been married for 10 years, or he's been married for 10 years. So.
Oh no! Anybody that knows me knows I'm spoken for. I'm like,
I love it.
Like they know I'm like that. My girl don't play. I love her. She means a lot to me, and she's a key figure in my life. So yes, I appreciate that, everybody. Also, really quick, are you on social media? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter, IG, Clubhouse, Snapchat, Tumblr? The list goes on. Are you on social media?
I am on all of the above.
All of it.
I am on Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, IG. You will find me at Celeb, Celeb, Honeybee, Honeyb. You can follow me on any of those social medias, same name, and I'll follow you back.
I heard that. Well, that's what I'm talking about, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been just very informative. I'm walking away with some notes. I'm learning some things, and I know you guys learn some things as well. All the information, all of our contact, your social media, as well as websites, will be in the description. Make sure you look below. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe the Ringside YouTube channel. If you're on Facebook, make sure you type in Ringside LLC. You'll find our private Facebook group. Make sure you go ahead and click join group, and either myself or one of the admins will admit you. And until next time, take care, everybody. Be well, and we will catch you later. Bye-bye.